Hey guys, I am doing a voiceover of the video I made just so that I can be watching and making sure the time lines up. So this is a DIY dream catcher prop for a newborn session. Before I show you how we did it, I need to make sure and let everybody know this is going to be a composite shot. The baby will never be dangling from a dream catcher platform. Do not dangle the baby. Do not lift the baby. Do not suspend the baby on a dream catcher from above the ground. This will be taken in two different shots. It will be taken with the baby on the dream catcher on the ground, and then I'll take another shot without the baby in the dream catcher while hanging the dream catcher from my backdrop stand. You're going to need some materials. Obviously, the materials we're looking at getting are some textured yarn. I bought about 6 skeins of yarn, and they were on Black Friday special at JoAnn's, and I ended up spending about $50. Some were big, thicker skeins, some were narrower, sparkly, more textured. I've got some lace that I bought to add into there. One color that I used to wrap around the form, and all the other pieces, all the other yarns were the textures that are dangling from the dream catcher. You need 2 sections of flex pipe. It's plumbing pipe, like in a sprinkler system, 88 inches long. Then you push a dowel rod or something more narrower than the flex pipe to connect the 2 ends, and then electric tape the flex pipe. And you need a handy helper. You always need a handy helper. The 4th thing you need are small pieces of wood for the support beams. These were 6 inches long. I'm going to assume they're about a 1/2 inch thick. Again, the baby will never be dangling or being supported by the dream catcher alone, but we need something to help connect the 2 dream catcher pieces. So you start out after your PVC or after your flex pipe is connected, you take your colored yarn that you plan on using to wrap the flex pipe, and you just start wrapping it around. Give yourself an end at the beginning, a little piece at the beginning, and wrap your yarn around that piece. Easier than knotting it. It's easier than taping it down. This process last night when we did a practice run took us about 2 hours. We were playing a game with the kids. Took a little bit longer. We weren't as concentrated. Today we did the second flex pipe. Took us about an hour and a half. We put on a Christmas movie. We watched Christmas with the Cranks. While we did it, everybody needs a Christmas song while you craft. Just a note, I am not a DIYer. When I have a special request from a client and their baby ends up arriving earlier than I can get a prop shipped, it's time to DIY. So this is why we're DIYing this dream catcher. So just continue wrapping that yarn around your flex pipe. Make sure you can't see any black pipe in between your yarn. So I'm pushing it really tight against the next piece. Once you get to the end, you can wrap it around and tie a knot around itself. We tied it 3 times just so it wouldn't come undone. Then when you're done wrapping your flex pipe, we've got an 88 inch long. We divided that by 16 points that I wanted my dream catcher points connected to the flex pipe. So we divided 16 into 88. My husband marked that number with Scotch tape that I could easily take off, and then we began the dream catcher. So my first knot is actually a loop on top that I'm going to use when I hang it to take the picture without the baby in it, remember? And then I tie that in a square knot underneath. So when that knot is tied, you take your length of yarn, which when we did our sample run last night of the dream catcher portion, I measured the amount of yarn it took me, and it took me 60 feet of yarn. So your first piece for the dream catcher is bring your yarn back behind your dream catcher or your flex pipe and loop it back through. Make sure it's lined up with your first tape, and then tug your knot pretty tight. And then do the same thing. Take your yarn behind the flex pipe and loop it back through itself. Line your end up with your tape and tug it pretty tight. You'll do this motion or this knot, this loop knot, all the way around your flex pipe until you get back to your starting point. You go back to your start point, you do the same motion, but now you're going to use your loop of yarn from your first round and do that same loop now with your yarn from your last round. So through the front, loop it through the back, through the back, loop it back through the front, through itself, and then do it again on your next loop. Push it to the back, bring it around through the front, loop it into itself, and tug it tight, making sure that center point is in the center of your last loop. And then just continue that all the way around your dream catcher. This last night took me about 2 hours for my first test run. Today was a little bit easier because I had number one, I had done it already, and number two, I had my yarn cut to the exact length, so I didn't have to stop in the middle and tie 2 pieces of yarn together. And I also was working with a shorter length of yarn, which was a lot easier than trying to work with a big skein. As you're working with it, you can add beads to your yarn and add little beads or feathers or just little pieces of kind of bohemian look for your textures. I just want it to be plain. I don't want to take away from the subject of the baby. As you get closer to the center, your circles are going to get smaller and smaller. If they got too small, sometimes I would skip one section and move on to the next. When you get to the end, you just tie a knot at your ending point, leave a small open circle in the middle, which is kind of your traditional look for a dream catcher. Now you should have 2 wrapped pieces of flex pipe. One is wrapped. One now has your dream catcher weave. The other one, you will take your other textured yarns, lace and ribbon, group a bunch of different ones together, different textures together, loop them in half, and slide your loop back behind your flex pipe. Pull your ends up through and tug them close together. You want them to be really snug together, so you can't see through the dream catcher, or you can't see through the yarn on your dream catcher. When you're done with that part, you can go through and find any pieces that you feel look not as thick as you'd like and add more yarn to those pieces. At the end, you can also trim your shape of your yarn so that you've got a long piece in the middle and it tapers to the top. I did a lot of my tapering in the cuts of my yarn so that I didn't have to later. Then you're going to take your 3 sections of wood, you're going to drill into your flex pipe and into your wood on both sides. That not only gives more support to your dream catcher, but it connects your 2 pieces. So now you have your yarn piece and your dream catcher piece connected. And there you go. There's the finished product. On this picture, I have yarn tied to the top. I will take that off for the picture. That's just to try to keep the form as I'm storing it. So the 2 pieces on top are tied together. If I wanted to, I could probably bunch some yarn at the top to add another layer of texture in the picture. Of course, I will drape some fabrics along the bottom so the baby's not resting right on the wood. And again, final request, please do not hang a baby from the dream catcher suspended above the ground. Use this as a composite. We will actually show our composite on our webinar, babyphotoacademy.com, and you can register for the webinar and we'll show how we put together this entire session. Hope you guys enjoyed my little DIY dream catcher. We actually will be doing another DIY in a couple days, as we have another special request from a client. So we will be doing another DIY later. So I will leave all of the information on sizes of the flex pipe, how many skeins of yarn, all of that in the description below. If you would please subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you can receive notifications. We would absolutely love you to be a part of our channel. Hope you have a fantastic day. And as it is obviously Christmas time here, I hope you have a fantastic Christmas season. Talk to you later. Bye.